We are both strugs to funk right now.
Strugs to funk.
Morning, Stony Maloney.
Good morning.
You're
I'm not stoned right now.
so school of rock. Do you know what it means to be hungover? It means you're drunk. No, it means I was drunk yesterday.
So I don't know. I'm just feeling a little slow.
A little fluty, I would say. Welcome to Disrespectfully
with Katie Maloney
and Dayna Kathan.
Unapologetically,
We're here to do what we want to do.
spilling the tea.
Babe, you're going to see the power of women. Like,
Disrespectfully.
yesterday was 420.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your experience.
Well, I had a great time. I went over to our friend Floor's and Caleb's, and she made like a chocolate cake. She made a roast. I don't eat lamb, so I didn't eat any of that. I ordered chicken wings.
In a surprise to no one. I sent you a TikTok. You're like hit or miss with the TikToks in the DMs. I have to text them to you, which I have to do that with Logan and Ariana too. It's so annoying, and Brittany, but like Raleigh is very in the DMs.
Yes.
So it said, it was a gas station and it said beer, chicken, and one other thing that you love, hot dogs or something. And I sent it to you because I was like, Katie Maloney Corp.
They're trying to call me.
Here's the thing. I was both devastated and not by the lack of invite for me because I don't smoke. But the cake, when I saw the cake, I was like,
Well, first of all, I don't
I
know when
love
you
cake.
got back because you were out of town.
no, I know.
And
And I was having a horrifying
also-
headache yesterday.
Me and Nick, and then also Monica, all separately like invited ourselves over. So there wasn't like a thing that was happening. I was just like, "What are you doing today? We want to hang out." She goes, "Well, I'm doing this and making a roast and all that. So if you want to come by," and I was like, "All right."
No, I know I would have just come over had I wanted to. But yeah, fighting for my life with the hangover. But tell me about the smoke out. How was it?
So I didn't actually smoke, but I drank one of these. It was like a PBR, like THC seltzer thing.
Love.
Which is normally it says it's a little higher dose than I normally do for edible, but it also had 5 milligrams of THCV, which doesn't have the psychoactive bits that THC has, and it can also like help like counteract too much of the psychoactive with THC. So like if you have it mixed together, it sort of like creates like a nice like balanced high, if you will.
So sounds like something I could probably tolerate because
Yeah.
I have been using Out of Office, right? They're one of the sponsors of our show, so we love to see it. But I actually ate 2 jars of them, so they're THC plus CBD balanced.
Yeah.
And I really do feel like it was starting to help me, but I kicked that thing up a notch to 3 milligrams of THC. And I think I'm ready to go higher. Hopefully get higher. Because it is really chill, but I do feel like it was helping me sleep. Actually, when I make any kind of content online joking about my insomnia, everyone's always like, smoke weed, smoke weed. Trust me. If I could rip a gravity bong every night, if that is what would help me sleep and it's plant medicine, I would, but it's just, I have a psychotic break. So I'm not able to do that. And also, you know what? Just like it's cool watching a hot person smoke a cigarette, there's nothing cooler than someone smoking a joint.
Oh yeah.
You're cool. Like,
do you know what I do like? I like those like little, they're called like dog walkers because they're these like little tiny joints.
you've talked about them before.
And I'm really into it about that because there is no way on planet Earth I could smoke more than like 2 or 3 hits of a joint.
Yeah.
I don't know. Smoking is very different than eating it. Like the out of office ones, I'm obsessed with the little gummies. I have the 3 milligram ones and they're like perfect because like I can still function properly off of them. It's just like kind of just calms me down. It also helps with like nausea and like appetite and things like that like struggle with.
Well, and me being the most nauseous person alive,
Yeah.
it's just, I have been Zofraning it up and it has been Jador.
With like period cramps, a little weed in me and I'm good.
Well, I had a very rough day yesterday. I'm still hurting a little bit. So I went to Santa Barbara with my sister and I was just telling you, I didn't even drink there. So it's not like a hangover. And sometimes when I get headaches and it's not from a hangover, I'm like, this is bullshit. Just like when you eat a salad and you're like, I should be hot just because of this moment. But I could feel it creeping on yesterday. And my mom used to say, because it started when I was little, she used to say, teeny tiny Dana did too much. And it just, in terms of like when I have anything a lot going on, this sometimes happen. So I feel like it was a latent Coachella. And then I had 2 days and my sister got in town. I'm hosting her. We're fighting in like the sister way. We're fine. And we go to Santa Barbara. We have this beautiful day. We had a fab dinner. I think the place was called Loquita in Santa Barbara. One of the best restaurants I've been to in so long. It's the way I feel about Dantana's, how the meal is so worth it because sometimes, I don't know, in LA, you go a lot of places and it's like, it's good, but it's also really expensive. We had paella and a bunch of other things. If you go to Santa Barbara, highly recommend it. It was so good. But I could feel the headache starting to creep on when I was there. So it was getting worse and worse. And I used to get cluster migraines, but I haven't had one in truly 10 years, and they last for a week or longer, and it's so painful. And so I got up to it was like an 8 pain wise last night. So I got in bed and I was feeling nauseous from it. And so it took me a really long time to fall asleep. And then I had a panic attack. And for me, I think I've talked about this before. I have anxiety, and it's controlled for the most part by medication. But when I do get a full blown panic attack, it's usually when I'm starting to fall asleep, which is kind of strange. But I got up and took some medication and PTFO'd finally. So that was great. So I'm doing better today, but I definitely, it's less ice pick in the skull and more of just like a dull pain. So I'm hoping that tomorrow I'll feel totally better.
Oh, that is awful. Like there's very few things worse than having just a constant headache that doesn't go away.
Yeah. And the ones where you have to close your eyes, and I'm trying to watch TikTok to relax, and I'm doing it with like one eye closed, like when you have the spins. It's just complete bull. So
I had a hangover yesterday for the first time in a really long time.
From what?
The night before, Nick and I went to dinner with TJ and Aaron.
Birthday.
And no, it wasn't his birthday.
Oh, you guys just went to dinner.
Yeah, no, because I got him a bottle of tequila for his birthday, which was in October. And then after dinner, we went over to their house. He goes, "Oh, I have this tequila that I didn't open that you gave me." I'm like, "What, are you kidding me?" It was like the Patron El Alto, like some of the best tequila. I was like, so I had a bunch of drinks at dinner. They brought us out shots. I took 2 shots. Shout out to Casita.
I have not seen you take a shot pretty much our entire friendship, so that's really crazy.
I know. I rarely do shots.
Oy.
And then I drank some more tequila. So I woke up and was feeling like a whole dust bunny.
Did you have any red wine?
No.
Thank God. Okay. Well, at least you were,
Yeah, but yesterday I laid there until about, I don't know, 11:30 or noon. How does a shower fix everything? A shower really does the fucking trick.
No, it does. It's a process.
And then I had a couple beers and I had a little weed drink and I was on my way.
See, unfortunately, that's my process. I'm like, I need a brewski or a michelada.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm boring everyone.
I know, we're like just complaining. I swear we're going to get
Listen to my headache story. Listen to my hangover story. Listen to blah, blah, blah. I don't know.
But we're here. We're happy to be here. I have a quick circle back before we forget, because we were just having such a hoot with shorts. We totally forgot. Before, when we were talking about our artist, Julia, who did these amazing portraits for us, we said her Instagram handle wrong. And I think we called her Julie. Her name is Julia. Julia, I'm so sorry. I know you're listening right now. Her handle is jubu.baby. JUBU.baby. If you want a custom portrait, she is actually making one of my mom right now.
Mm-hmm.
And she came up with this idea and was like, to give to your sister for Mother's Day, which is like so incredible. And obviously my sister doesn't listen to this podcast, so I doubt she watches my stories either. So that will be a lovely surprise. And yeah, I'm just so excited. So big shout out to her and big thank you. And sorry, we're big dumb idiots for getting that wrong. That's so embarrassing.
Listen, no one's perfect.
Well, I mean, we're pretty close. Should we get into the episode?
We should. I feel like I'm like, wait, we're doing Heauxmetown and WWDD today. We're just over here yapping.
Yeah, we are. I am really excited about mine today, and I can't remember what they're about, but I know I was like giggling while I was doing it. So
there's some good ones today, I think. But go ahead, go first.
Okay, let's jump right into it.
Let's go.
Anonymous says, "Hi, ladies. Sending it again with hopes you see it. Ha 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 ha." Again, you guys keep sending them. Like the girl I saw at Coachella, I'm like, it's not just because we're ignoring you. We just have a lot to go through.
Mm-hmm.
Dana and Katie, you both radiate qualities I aspire to. I live for the pod. I actually look forward to solo drives just to decompress. It feels like self-care with my girlfriends, so thank you. No, thank you. Highest compliment.
Mm-hmm.
Now on to my story. Please keep me anonymous, though anyone who knows me will definitely know it's me, LOL. I want to share how I lost my virginity. I was 20, not saving myself for anyone, just hadn't gotten around to it. I did everything but. For the young listeners, don't do anything you're not getting reciprocated for. Lesson learned. I wasn't modest either. Think nipples out at family parties and short dresses to Christmas Eve. No one would have guessed I was a virgin if they didn't know me. Spring break 2015. My friends and I flew to Cancun. She's fulfilling our Cancun dreams. I'm like so jealous of this.
Yeah.
Once we arrived, it was full on chaos. We partied, we made friends. I met a guy, let's call him Seth, at a boat party where the amount of alcohol flowing is borderline illegal. We made out the entire night and got back to the resort. He invited me to his room. I didn't plan to have sex on this trip, but there I was. Now, Seth had the biggest dick I'd ever seen. To this day. I didn't tell him it was my first time. It was awkward and uncomfortable for me, not like he noticed. Afterward, we were laying in bed, and who busts in? My best friend. She blurts out, "Oh my God, did you just lose your virginity?" His face was priceless. I scrambled out of there so fast. In the lobby, my friends were freaking out in typical girl fashion, but apparently the resort overheard. The next day, people I didn't know were congratulating me. Walking around the resort, eyes darting to me randomly, I felt like a fucking celebrity, laughing my ass off, literally. I was mortified then, but now I think it's hilarious.
Smart.
Seth and I stayed friends for a while, and he later admitted he assumed I was a freak in bed just based on how I dress. Lesson for him, don't judge a book by its crop top. I can be a freak, just not with him. Thanks for reading, even if it doesn't make the pod. Hope you had a good laugh. Love you both. XOXO. I think that's so funny. If anyone, I didn't get any high fives when I lost my virginity. I just got my hymen ripped and my mom yelled at me.
Your mom yelled at you?
Well, at first she didn't yell at me, but then when she caught me in the throes of passion, yeah, I definitely got screamed at. She threatened to sell my car that I purchased with my own money. It was a whole thing. Love you. R.I.P. Jules. But you know what I mean? Yeah, I just thought that was so funny. And then also, why is your best friend putting you on blast?
I know it's giving like jealous, but yeah.
Oh, I think it's giving too many beer bongs. I think that person was
That
quite
too.
inebriated.
That too, but like you don't need to shout that. I don't know. Jail, basement. So I used to have no idea what to get my mom for Mother's Day, especially when she hits me with the classics, "Don't get me anything." Ugh.
They never mean that.
I know, and then it makes it harder because I still want to give her something that feels special. Quince totally solved it for me. Everything is high quality, feels super thoughtful, and is actually affordable. Now, I don't overthink it. I just go straight to Quince.
Cashmere sweaters for 50 bones, 14 karat gold jewelry, Italian leather bags, fragrances. Are you joking? Quince, it's got it all.
And the best part, all Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. By partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to us.
And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, very important to us, and premium fabrics and finishes. I just adore that. And you know what's perfect for all those coastal grandma aesthetic mothers out there? Quince Mongolian cashmere crewneck sweater. Cozy, comfy, chic. You'll have her standing by the sea gracefully with so much love in her heart just for you because of Quince.
Thoughtful, timeless, totally her. Shop Mother's Day at Quince. Go to quince.com/disrespectfully for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/disrespectfully to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/disrespectfully.
You know what I love?
What?
Wrinkles as I age. Said literally no one ever.
I was going to say, excuse me?
No. No, I'm joshing you right now.
Josh.
That's a Josh.
I want to embrace the wrinkles, but I also want to make sure that I'm maintaining in a way that I can keep them sort of just minimal, cute.
Yeah.
I want cute wrinkles.
Yeah.
And this is why you need to try Osea's new Dream Night Serum with bioretinol. Dream Night Serum works overnight to visibly reduce crow's feet, fine lines, wrinkles, and even deep wrinkles. So you wake up to visibly firmer, smoother, more youthful looking skin.
I've been using it, and someone asked me if I was a toddler recently, which was really awesome. The best part, you get results without irritation, no dryness, no peeling, no adjustment period. Just smoother, firmer skin from night one. Osea's Dream Night Serum is for every stage of aging, whether you're targeting the first signs of fine lines in your 20s or addressing deep wrinkles later in life.
Osea's Dream Night Serum has become a key part of my nighttime routine. It's the only thing that can calm me down after my stressful hour working in the pit. After using, my skin is firmer, smoother, and softer. Plus, there's no irritation and it works overnight.
It smells really good too.
Mhm.
I'm truly obsessed with it. Every time I use Osea's Dream Night Serum, I'm inundated with comments about how young and hot and beautiful I am, and like, who doesn't want that? And to really lock in with that moisture and maximize wrinkle smoothing benefits while you sleep, pair Osea's Dream Night Serum with their Dream Night Cream.
Whether you're in your 20s or 60s, this serum is designed to support your skin at every stage. The Dream Night Serum mimics the effects of retinol without irritation, making it safe for all skin types and gentle enough for nightly use.
Say goodnight to wrinkles and wake up to visibly firmer, smoother, naturally radiant with Osea's new Dream Night Serum. And right now, we have a special offer for just our listeners. Get 10% off your order site-wide with code disrespectfully at OseaMalibu.com.
Rye Sully says, hey gals, forever VPR fan, but more importantly, listener of the pod since day one. First, Dana, I lost my mom a little over 5 years ago and feeling like I connect with you so much because honestly, I love a good dead mom joke and watching people's faces. Like, we're fine. Miss our moms, our realest best friends for real, terribly, but life goes on and disrespectfully, I'm fine thanks to therapy. So stop making it weird.
Love you.
And Katie, you've always been my absolute favorite to watch. I will miss your wit and charm on my screen. Thankfully, you're still in my AirPods. We'll always have love for you both. I'm writing this from a bathroom stall at TJ Maxx. And to be honest, this isn't a story, but more of a question. What in the actual fuck is in the air in these types of stores? TJ Maxx, Marshalls, HomeGood, etc. That as soon as you walk in, the TikTok sound of, bro, I gotta poop, starts playing and you can't get to the bathroom fast enough. The amount of times I've almost shit my pants in the middle of the store is astonishing. Well, that's all. Just wanted to write in, make sure I'm not alone, and express my love for both the pod and the Coven. Disrespectfully, Rye Sully. I laughed so hard when I read this. I was like, I love that they're just like on the toilet typing this. Like,
we need more on the can, live from the can stories.
I don't know about that.
That is so
does that happen to you when you go into those types of stores?
That happens to me wherever I go. So I would say yes, just because. But yeah, I can smell. I was a Maxxinista growing up. I was a little brokey. So it was like Ross or TJ Maxx is where I shopped. And I can smell those stores very specifically.
I don't know what it is, but I didn't even know they have bathrooms in those stores.
Oh, they have bathrooms. And they're usually you go through these like double doors that are sketchy that looks like it's the last thing you're going to do. And then they're back there. And it's hit or miss whether they're clean or not.
They just smell like shit.
Yeah.
Because everyone in there shitting.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. The only public place that like it becomes like a nightmare emergency, walking through a casino where people are smoking and you get that like little second hand and all of a sudden your stomach starts doing things. That's the only time I've like really felt sudden urges to shit in public.
Oh, yeah. Also, not to humble brag, even though we love the ladies of humble brag, I haven't had a cigarette since Coachella. I actually think I'm smoked out like for a while. It's like so crazy for me, but
I can't wait till the next time we're hanging out. And
well, sometimes it's a poop cigarette. Sometimes you gotta go. Anyway, Ariana says, "Hi, ladies. I hope you and the whole Disrespectfully crew are having a magical April. Thank you for making my drives feel like solo time with the girls. It's the best self-care. Since I know you're into paranormal and spooky vibes, I wanted to share a little story that still gives me chills when I think about it.
Ooh.
When I was little, maybe between 7 and 11, my dad used to tell stories about when I was a baby. One of them was about his best friend Tommy, who passed away when I was too young to remember him. He was a big husky guy, and apparently I'd fall asleep on him instantly anytime he held me. My dad always gets a little emotional when we talk about him. The weird part, when I was about 2 or 3, I'd wake up in the morning and casually tell my dad, Tommy came to visit me last night. My mom would catch me walking down the hallway having full conversations with no one. And if she asked who I was talking to, I'd answer, Tommy. Like, duh, obviously. Years later, when my grandpa passed away, I started hearing him calling me in the middle of the night. Not loudly, just softly like a whisper right at the edge of sleep. I'd always be in the in-between state, not fully dreaming, not fully awake. I tried to convince myself it was just my mind playing tricks on me. But then there were 2 moments I can't explain. The first happened when I was dead asleep. I used to sleep with one arm over my face, and I clearly remember waking up to the feeling of someone tickling me under my armpit. I still have such trauma with Brittany pinning me down and tickling me until I cried. So I am so sensitive. I could never. It wasn't a light brush or my hair. It was actual pressures like fingers. I jumped up in a full panic, thought my dad was maybe messing with me. He used to like to play around sometimes, but there was no way he could have gotten out of my room that fast without me seeing or hearing him. After that night, I never slept with my arms above my head again. But the creepiest thing, the same year around 3 a.m., of course, I was fast asleep when I was suddenly jolted awake by this loud, chaotic sound. I had a Spider-Man table pinball machine in the corner of my room, and somehow it turned on fully by itself, full volume. Lights flashing, balls rolling, pinging noises echoing through the room. It was going off like someone was actually playing it. I started screaming. My parents ran into the room, thinking I was being attacked. I made them get that thing out of my room immediately and threw it away the next day. I slept with a small padded Scooby-Doo bat next to my bed for a long time after that, laughing my ass off. To this day, I had no idea how it turned on. You had to physically flip a switch to activate it. It wasn't battery sensitive. It wasn't glitchy. I still get goosebumps thinking about it. Anyway, hope this gave you a little chill and maybe a laugh. Love you ladies both so much. Thanks for always keeping it real. XOXO Ari. I love the bat of it all because ghosts are immune to bats.
Yeah.
But I get the sentiment.
No, that is so funny. Why is it always like 3 a.m.? Every time I like wake up in the middle and I look at the clock at 3 a.m., I'm like, please don't start with me. I don't want to deal with this bullshit. I'm just trying to pee. I don't know why I'm awake, but then I see the time. I'm like, motherfucker.
I obviously wake up in the middle of the night a lot, and it's almost always, I can tell before I look at by the like lighting in my room. I'm like, ugh, it's the witching hour.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho.
All right. This next one's kind of not a circle back, but it's something that's written when I think it was about at a strip club, stealing money.
Ooh, okay, good.
Callie says, and I'm back. So silly me missed the episode where you actually read this, but I heard you referenced it in a later episode and I went back and found it. Yes, that number was in fact in the millions. I personally experienced over $100,000 in stolen tips and wages. Thank you for sharing this story. Jesus. I figured I'd come back on a lighter note and tell you one of my favorite strip club stories.
Hell yeah.
Back in the day, our club was connected to a 5-star steakhouse. I love that.
Men are just so stupid and predictable. I mean, we love that too, but it's like, I'll attract you with meats and bosoms.
Yeah, I want the meat sweats while somebody dances in front of me. Like, okay. There was an elevated runway in the middle, and while guests would enjoy their dinner,
Start that sentence over, please.
Okay. There was an elevated runway in the middle, and while guests would enjoy their dinner, entertainers would come in and do a stage set. It was very common for guests to meet dancers and pay for them to have dinner with them in the steakhouse during their shift. I would do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was one guest in particular that would come in weekly and take different women into the steakhouse for dinner. After several weeks, he finally found the right one for him. They had multiple of these dinner dates, and after a few weeks, he asked the entertainer if she was fully vegan based off her previous dinner orders, to which she replied yes. He told her that he had been searching for a true vegan for months and would pay her a fair amount if she'd be willing to meet him in a coffee shop the following afternoon. For $1,500, she agreed.
Oh, no.
When she showed up at the coffee shop, she found him sitting at a table with an empty shoebox. He immediately gave her $1,500 and told her he would double it if she took a shit in it. Reluctantly, she agreed. This arrangement lasted a few weeks before she ultimately got weirded out by the situation and cut the man off. We never saw him again at the strip club, and to this day, we have no idea what he was doing with a box of vegan poo. As always, love the pod, and thanks for sharing.
That is so upsetting. I'm not interested in thinking about what he was doing with it, but I would shit in a box for $3,000. Would you?
Probably.
Yeah, sure.
Imagine being like, listen, I went this morning. I don't.
Well, I'm like, to poop on command you're chosen by God. So I don't know who could do that. I mean, I'd be like, triple espresso, please.
Well, I guess maybe if you are vegan, you eat a lot of like roughage, very fibrous meals.
Maybe you're fiber fueled.
I heard that vegans have really stinky farts.
Oh, I would believe it. I would believe it. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, get your bag, girl, even if it comes with a box.
I mean, all right.
Allegra says, hi, my gals. I continue to hear all the crazy stories listeners write in and just had to share this one with you both. I don't know if you'd necessarily call this a hero story, but I digress. Oh my God, this one's so good. I was at my work holiday party and my 2 roommates were out at a concert. One of my roommates, we'll call her A, at the time was hooking up with a coworker of mine. So after a long night of boozy company-sponsored drinks, myself and this gentleman went back to our apartment to wait for my roommates to return from their show. Unfortunately and admittedly, I don't really remember getting home, but apparently I went right to sleep in my bed. I suddenly woke up a few hours later around 2 a.m. to the screams of our roommates. Our apartment had been robbed. I woke up in a daze trying to wrap my head around the evidence of this break-in. One of the glass panels of our downstairs entry door was smashed in, the curtains in A's room were completely torn down, and the screen door of the window was chucked across the room. My other roommate's S's iPad was stolen, and I had concluded the rest of the Ciroc I had in the freezer was emptied, and the single cigarette I had left myself for the morning was stolen too. Obviously, I read this, and I'm like, this is the real crime. I'm like, I want you not even in jail, go to prison. To say we were distressed is an understatement. We called the cops right away so they could come to the house and write a report. The cops were friendly and respected our scared feelings, but made some You got this. Made some valid arguments, assessing the situation and writing up the report. So the robber went into S's room, stole her iPad, and didn't steal any of the jewelry or other valuables that were right next to her dresser. You were sleeping and didn't hear any of this going on. So the lost valuables were an iPad, vodka, and a cigarette. I said to the robbers, take anything, not everything. That would be my thoughts. The next morning, we woke up and all got together to discuss the craziness from the night before. We were extremely shook, but it did seem odd that someone would break in to just steal these meaningless items. It wasn't until S found her iPad in a different room that we started to put the pieces together. Turns out, it appears I was the one who broke into our apartment. Oops. In addition to finding the stolen iPad, we found the stolen cigarette half smoked on our...
No.
Half smoked on our deck, along with a cup that we can only guess was filled with that remaining Ciroc. And the suspect, my coworker, was the one who made a mess of A's bedroom. It was the most dramatic thing we've ever experienced during our 5 years of being roommates, and we still laugh to this day at the police report we kept as a keepsake at one of the most hysterical nights we've had together as best friends. Moral of the story, drink responsibly, people.
Wait, so what was the guy doing? Why was he destroying the room?
I mean, because he was boning the roommate. So I'm assuming that they just made a mess and maybe he left or something. We'll never know what happened in that blackout. But to find honestly, at least past you left future you half of the cigarette.
That's true. That's true.
This is so me coded, except I seldom black out.
It's amazing. What was she trying to watch something on the iPad while she smoked a cigarette? And
100%. She's like on YouTube watching the Wiggles. We just don't know.
Oh, God, that's classic. Anonymous says, crime and sexy time. I like when the people have little titles.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, ladies, buckle up because my host story and crime story are one and the same. Some details redacted, LOL. In college, I was on a co-ed sports team and everyone was sleeping with each other. We would have huge parties that got very rowdy. Got very rowdy. There was one party where I kissed 19 people. A fact I remembered the next day when I looked down and saw the tally marks on my arm. Who does that?
I once went out with this square that told me he spent some time in Barcelona and was like, he would go to these parties that were specifically, you made out with as many people as possible. And I'm like, I don't know about that. That sounds like a recipe for mono, but okay.
Yeah, I feel like Tom Schwartz would like that though. Anyway, I would often kiss this one girl, let's call her Sarah. And Sarah had a boyfriend on the men's team. He was also at the parties and seemed fine with it, but I started to wonder where the boundaries were. One day, I invited Sarah to drinks and asked her about it. She said as long as he was there, it was fine. I felt better already. And then we kept drinking. As we continued drinking, I told her about this art project I was working on where I threw paint at a canvas. She said she wanted to try it, and I said we should go up to the art studio. They gave us art students the code to the studio so we could work on our projects after hours. At this point, it was around midnight. We went to the studio and continued drinking and smoking ciggies, which was probably a terrible idea given the flammable substances around. One of us suggested we get naked and use our bodies as paintbrushes. We proceeded to cover ourselves in paint and paint the walls of the art studio. Picture a single open room with stark white walls covered in paint we had both thrown and used our bodies to apply. Satisfied with our project, we left the studio still naked and headed back to my apartment. What? But not before taking a quick detour to streak across the sports fields that were right next to the freshman dorms. When we got back to my apartment, we jumped in the complex pool. When was the last time it was cleaned is anyone's best guess. We then proceeded to have sex all night long. So glad we went over those boundaries mere hours earlier. So I wake up with the hangover of my life and my stomach turns, surprisingly not from the alcohol, but rather because I have art class. I walk into the studio and the first thing I see is where I pressed my huge boobs covered in paint onto the walls of the studio. Not only had we painted the walls, but we had left all of our empties and cigarette butts strewn across the floor as well. The other students were looking around in shock, and my professor was talking to a terrifyingly large security guard. I felt sick, so I shuffled into the bathroom only to look in the mirror and discover I still had some paint in my hair. I quickly rinsed it out, hoping no one would notice my newly wet hair. Things finally quieted down, and we all sat down at our easels. My professor let us know that the vandalism is not okay, and he thinks he knows who did it. As he is taking a look down, I noticed I left my shoes the night before, and they were under a table right behind him. At this point, I'm sure I'm doomed. When class ends, no one is looking. I grab my shoes and book it to my car. For the next several weeks, I was waiting for them to come collect me and drag me to my college jail, or real jail. But they never found out it was me. Though this was over 15 years ago, I still worry someone's going to show up to my door and take my degree away. But hopefully no one at the redacted school name listens to this pod. So the story has a happy ending. Well, Sarah's boyfriend was my ex-girlfriend's roommate, And once he found out we slept together, none of them ever spoke to me again. But other than that, all is well. Well, all was well. Okay, love you, bye. I love that story. I wish I had a story like that.
No, this reminds me of the TikTok sound, the Lana Del Rey that's like, I am crazy, but I'm free. That sounds like my ideal night. I personally love that. I can't believe you went to class the next day. I'd probably skip.
Just going and seeing like your boob press like marks on the wall.
If you have photos of this, I doubt you do, but please send them in because I'm going to need to see the cans in the paint.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is a fantastic group of stories this week.
I know. Well done, everybody. More, yes, more, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Stoney Maloney. Thank you more, please.
Please, thank you more.
Please, thank you.
It was the same thing.
Okay, well, let's, under the influence for some of us, solve the world's problems.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got all kinds of good advice in my chamber.
Great. Olivia says, hi, ladies. You know that friend you hang out with who just recharges your social battery and emotional battery? That's exactly how I feel after listening to your pod each week. Ugh,
I was gonna say that's me. I am that friend.
We are that friend. Love alone maintenance. Yeah, please. Friendship. It's like, please.
Yeah.
It's the boost I need to bounce back midweek and take on the next step with a positive attitude. So truly, thank you. I don't think anyone's ever told us we give them a positive attitude, but I personally love that. Every week I'm like, let's talk about climate change. I've been thinking about writing in for over a month now, and this past Friday I realized it was time to ask for advice. I have an older cousin who's basically the closest thing I have to a sister. We're super close, nothing's off limits in conversation, and yes, I'd help her hide a body, no questions asked. Thankfully, not the situation here. My issue is this. Ever since we reconnected in our 20s, she's gotten into a pattern of extremely unhealthy relationship. It's like things get really bad, way too far, and she can't see that she needs to walk away. I'll say, this is awful. How can you be okay with this? And it's like her eyes light up at the chaos she's about to lean into. For example, she dated this one guy for 6 years. He wanted to break up and see other people, but she convinced him to stay by being in an open relationship. That spiraled into her sleeping with his best friend, and it all ended with him getting a restraining order against her. There's way more to that story.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Now she's with this guy who thrives on drama. He constantly threatens to break up with her just to watch him chase. He constantly threatens to break up with her just to watch her chase him, literally. She's shown up at his work with coffee labeled I love you, and once impulsively took 5 flights to Mexico unannounced just to win him back. She texted, I'm at the airport, come get me, and flew home the same day after he said he'd give the relationship another chance. Fast forward to now. Yesterday, he ended things via text, and she had a panic attack at work, which made a scene, and she admitted herself into an outpatient therapy program and is taking 2 weeks off to get care. And still, she's posting photos of them on her Instagram, trying to get his attention, even though he's not replying after saying, I'm done, I need space. So here's my question. What do I do as her family? Do I act like this isn't happening all over again? Try to get her again to block him and move on, give her space and let her make her own choices? I feel like I'm about to snap. We've had so many of those girl, I'm concerned about you talks already about this guy, and I don't think she hears me anymore. And now, honestly, I'm anxious for her safety and her mental health. She continues to talk about wanting to settle down, get married, and have kids, which is why I think she is still trying hard to make this relationship work. Sorry if this is long. Can you hear the anxiety to the email? Okay, love you, bye.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's a heavy one. For me, the phrase, some people choose the chaos they're familiar with as opposed to the calm that they're not. So she obviously has some deep-rooted issues here. I'm really glad she checked herself in somewhere. I think that she perhaps needs to get off social media for a little while, but you can lead a horse to water. I don't think as her family, if you still have the mental stamina, because you have to protect your peace as well, that it's best to lean out right now. I think the way is to lean in. But since you're family, you know her other family. So I don't know what her situation is with her parents, if she has siblings, if she has anyone else that you can collectively get around. But I would say it's probably time for an intervention with her collective family or whoever she considers family.
Yeah, I think the behavior that she's displaying and has been displaying is really unhealthy and really reckless and just not, it's maniacal. It's not normal. And I hate to use the word normal, but it's just like we all can like spiral after breakups or when things are going awry in like our lives and things like that. But like taking flights to Mexico and like doing these things, it's like there's she definitely needs some real intensive help, I think. And I think having the support of her family so she doesn't feel like abandoned, I think, because obviously she's got some like attachment issues as well. So yeah, somewhere where she can just really take a break from the world.
I'm glad she's an outpatient. I don't know if that means she's also under psychiatric care, but I'm talking about psychiatric specifically because they can prescribe medication. And I'm not a psychiatrist. This is an armchair opinion, but this sounds a little manic to me. So
Yeah.
I think there's some really deep rooted stuff here, and perhaps she needs a little assistance in that way. Like I said, you do have to protect your peace, but if you still have it in you, I would say, try and intervene where you can. And then if you feel like you've done everything you can, then you need to do what's best for you.
I know.
Well, but I'm really sorry, and I hope she gets better.
I hope she gets better just for general, because like, it's not worth it.
No, and also maybe tell her, we talk about this all the time, but love that is safe should feel easy, and you shouldn't be chasing someone down. And she is obviously addicted to that drama, but that's not the kind of person that's going to marry you and have kids with you. And also, if you want to have kids with someone, you should consider the kind of person that you're having those children with in terms of what kind of father is that person going to be. Goodbye.
Yeah.
PSA for anyone who rents, if you haven't heard of Built, you're about to thank us. Earning points on rent is now a reality when you pay your rent through Built.
You don't even have to check with your landlord to start earning points that you can use toward flights, hotel stays, fitness classes, and even your next rent payment. Let us break it down for you.
There's no cost to join Built. And as a member, you'll earn valuable points on rent and your everyday spending. Built points can be transferred to your favorite hotels, airlines, and even the ones you haven't heard of.
There are over 500 airlines and 700,000 hotels and properties around the world you can redeem your Built points towards. Points can also be redeemed towards a future rent payment and unique experiences that only Built members can access.
So if you're not earning points on rent, our question is, why not? Start earning points on rent you're already paying by going to joinbuilt.com/disrespectfully.
That's joinbilt.com/disrespectfully. Make sure to use our URL so they know we sent you. Joinbuilt.com/disrespectfully to start earning points on your rent payments today. Jake says, hey, Katie and Dana. Hola. As this is a second submission, I will abbreviate this standard. I love you guys. The show is very meaningful to me, yada, yada. All true. There it is. Thank you.
Brief and to the point. Love it.
I wrote last time about feeling cheated at my startup and my anxiety about chasing my dreams versus getting a real job. Right after I wrote in, I got a position in technology at a big bank. It is my dream job, but I have hit the ground running and have already made a big impact.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
My first unofficial assignment was to diffuse the blood feud between two of my superiors. Wow. High drama, and it helped show my value. This feels like a TV show.
Yeah.
For this submission, I will tell you about my recent VPR-centric vacation with my wife and ask you about your career visions. I'll start with the trip. Since my wife and I started watching VPR together, we have dreamed of living the experience. Let me tell you about it. We finally decided to pull the trigger. We scheduled a trip to LA and Joshua Tree for April 8th through the 13th. We plan to do VPR site hop, renting an Airbnb in WeHo, then escaping all to hike / do drugs in the desert. Love that for you. We got so much more than we expected from the trip. For reference, our Airbnb was on Larrabee Street, not even a block off Santa Monica. That's perfect. We arrived from Pittsburgh late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning, had a reservation at Sir Wednesday night. Our first stop of the day was at Something About Her. Thank you. My wife and I are early risers, so we decided to walk around WeHo to get acclimated, then walk to Beverly Hills to see the nice houses. Who do we see as we're walking around WeHo but Peter? That tracks. Peter's always stomping around there. I feel like he was off to the gym, but agreed to take a picture with me. My wife was too shy. Attached that to the email. Thanks. We thought it was going to be our big VPR sighting for the trip. Boy, were we wrong. Something About Her was incredible. We were impressed that there was a line at opening on a Wednesday. I got the camera and my wife got the Drew. Both delicious and great value. The leftovers for breakfast the next day. I love having my leftover sandwiches. Mm-hmm. After a gorgeous afternoon in Malibu, we walked to Sir to make our 8 p.m. reservation. As we arrived, we realized it was the first day of shooting. We knew immediately this would be a special experience. I'll save the geeking out and gory details. In short, we met and were served by the new cast. I had a very warm interaction with Guillermo. Lisa lit up the room. I feel like Schwartz drooling on myself over her. Sorry. Long story short, we lucked out into the ultimate version of the VPR trip we had dreamed about. Our only regret was not seeing both of you. Well, I would regret that too. Driving to Joshua Tree was murder due to Coachella traffic. 5 hours. I've been there. I've driven to Coachella, not even during Coachella traffic, and it was still 4 hours, which is stupid. With the heat, our hiking was limited, but we did buy magic mushrooms on the Venice Beach boardwalk. So we sat in the cooling pool at the Airbnb and watched the Coachella live stream on YouTube. Benson Boone blew our minds. Go watch that performance if you haven't. Marina is also a new listen for me with a message that should hit for this audience.
I loved her. We saw her. She was great.
Separate from sharing about a trip, I do have a question for you ladies. I wanted to understand where you both see yourselves going professionally. Dayna, I know you just quit a corporate job. How did you define the new thing that you would be doing for yourself? Are there any future ventures that you are waiting to share about? Katie, you have something about her, and help me.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and brand ambassadorships, but you chose to take a hiatus from reality TV. You both obviously have this podcast. Where do you see the biggest opportunities for yourself in the future? How can we help you get there? Thanks for taking the time to read my message. If you're reading it on air right now, my wife and I are busy flipping out. Oh, all the best, Jake. Well, thank you for sharing your trip. I'm really glad you had a good time. Thanks for coming to something about her. Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of great that all those places are right there in West Hollywood, so you can hit them all, whether it's Sir, something about her, Tom Tom, really just do the gauntlet.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I had been doing the show and reality TV for over a decade. That was a huge chunk of my life and pretty much all I could do and think about, because when you're filming a show like that, your opportunities are somewhat limited to like brand partnership things and something like that. And then obviously having a podcast. But so when I decided that I was going to be walking away from the show, I'd entertain like maybe like, is there another show out there for me that I could like kind of like transition into? But I think I just was like looking so much forward to like having just like my life be my own, where I don't have to share every interaction and every piece and part of like my relationships and my friendships, and just also have to like be so opinionated about other people's lives. Like I did that for so long. I just really want to take a break and just enjoy like a regular ass life, and then just kind of figure out and self-reflect about where I really want to start spending my time and energy. Obviously, yes, the podcast is a huge thing for us. So just keep listening to the podcast. Tell everyone you know about the podcast. We want to help grow our coven, grow our community, so we can just take it to the next level. But as far as everything else, like I haven't shared about it because I don't want opinions about what I want to do next, but we'll see. I'm just soul searching right now, and like what I feel like besides this podcast, what else I want to do.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think that life is short and you should take a gamble on yourself. And I'm very fortunate that we have this show that we both love doing and put our whole heart and solacy into. So I am super grateful for you all listening. And like we said, tell your friends, because we want to keep building it and see where it can go and what we can kind of branch out to. So it's my main focus right now. The job market is hard and we're in a recession. Everything's scary, but I always have bet on myself because I've always figured it out. Even in 2020, when I basically lost everything, quit Vanderpump Rules, I just know it'll work out for me. But I do think that I have a higher purpose and love help. Like I love doing this segment of the show because we love helping people. And I love when you guys tell us we empower you. That's what we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I'm also soul searching and just open to all possibilities. And who knows, should we start a TV show? We just don't know. But it's like, I don't know. I think what's meant for me will find me. So I'm just in a very trust the process part of my life. And sometimes it feels a little scary, but because I do better with structure typically, but I think that I like relinquishing control right now and feel more collaborative with the universe as far as trying to make it be something that makes me feel safe. Wonderful things can happen when sometimes you can't see the next step, but you take it anyway.
Exactly. I like that. That was really like prolific.
Thank you. So that's kind of where I'm at.
I agree with it too. Like I've just always kind of trust the process, even though I don't even know what the process is, but just because things have like worked out so well that like if I just, keep my options open, or like, I don't know, the kind of the manifestation of just like, this will come when the time is right.
Yeah. And Jim Carrey gave this speech at some graduation. He was the keynote speaker. And he basically told a story about how his dad was a CPA and did this job that he didn't love and ended up getting fired. And he was like, the point being, you can fail at something you don't love. So you might as well fail at something you do. And this is what I love. I love this job. We both feel very fortunate we get to do it. So
amen.
And I'm happy you guys had a great trip.
Come back and visit.
Marissa says, "Hi, ladies. I'm a big fan of the pod and I love when you have guests on. You two have such a good vibe and the interviews are so much fun. I wanted to ask this question because I feel like you might give it to me straight. I went on a solo trip to Europe last year to celebrate the growth and work I had done after ending my relationship with my cheating ex. Hell yeah, brother. We're proud of you. I felt confident and free as a solo trip out of the country seemed like the perfect adventure. I went on a date with a guy who was also traveling alone and we really hit it off. He lives in the Czech Republic. I live in the US. I went into the date pretty open because I assumed I'd never see him again and I told him my whole life story. We ended up really hitting it off, had amazing sex, and said we'd keep in touch. We kept talking after a few months, decided that we liked each other enough that he should come visit so we could see how things felt in person. He traveled for 14 hours and we spent an incredible week together. The chemistry was undeniable and we had some really good and difficult conversations about how long distance dating would be and what we really want in life. He's officially my boyfriend and I'm traveling next month to see his life and meet his friends and family. Am I being delulu thinking this could work out? I'm not tied to where I live with the current state of affairs. Moving to a different country seems like a good option. I'm trying to be realistic about it all, but he's such a sweet guy and I really like him and could see a future together. Appreciate you reading this and giving me some honest words, Marissa. This is kind of a continuation of what we were just talking about, but for me, life is short. And if you found this connection, it kind of feels like a meant to be moment and it seems like you have a good head on your shoulders. So maybe give it some more time and evaluate after your trip. But people move, life changes. And I think that's one of the most exciting things. And I think when we started the podcast, that was kind of a foundation that life can look different than what you thought it would, but can end up being the best parts.
Yeah.
So I would say keep an open mind. And for me, as being such a underground certified lover girl, what wouldn't I do for the right love? So like, maybe you're going to the Czech Republic, girl.
Yeah, I think you're taking this opportunity to go see him and meet his friends and see kind of like how you fit into like his life out there and if you can see your life existing out there. So I think start there, but also like, yeah, I mean, you only live once. Imagine if like you just let all the thoughts of like, well, what if it doesn't, or maybe this is too far-fetched or anything like that, like make the decision for you, because imagine there will become a time in your life where you can't do things like that, sadly enough. And I wouldn't want to regret not doing something. It's either going to work out or not. So may as well just at least give it a shot.
Totally.
Yeah.
Hope this helps.
Hope it helps. Let us know. Keep us up.
Yeah. I think they have email in the Czech Republic. So you can let us know from there.
Okay. Ariana said,
what the fuck is with all the Ariana? Is it
Ariana.
our Ariana? Is Ariana secretly doing this? Like, what is going on?
Ariana, what are you doing?
This is our third
here?
Ariana today.
Okay. Ariana says, hi, Dana, Katie. I have to say I love this podcast and want to compliment you too.
We love compliments.
As a therapist, I really appreciate the way you solve the world's problems and answer WWDD. I've heard some other podcasts do similar segments, and they definitely do not do nearly as well as the two of you do. Really respectful approach from Disrespectfully. Thank you, ladies, for putting a great podcast out there to share with us all. You're welcome. That was a really nice.
That was super nice.
Okay, I have two quickish questions. So I rewatch episodes of VPR Season 8 because it's one of my favorites and because I hope that you'll get some coin. LOL. Do you? No.
Absolutely not.
No.
You would be shocked if you knew what I was paid for my time on Vanderpump Rules. I did not get episodic pay, which is normal for starting out on reality TV, but the amount is so minuscule, it would shock you. For the season that I was on for Vanderpump Rules, I was in main titles. When I talk about money and why I left, people have no idea. When you're first starting out in reality TV, it's cheap because they can take advantage of people financially. So fuck that.
And no, there's no like residuals. I don't make money on people rewatching it. I don't make money off of being on any kind of streamer. I just made money season to season. But
if it brings you joy, we're happy about that.
No, I'm like, listen, keep watching. It's a gift that can keep on giving. It's fine. But that's just the answer to the question. I don't. Second question is, what are your favorite places to go shop, eat, and drink / nightlife in the vicinity of WeHo, Beverly Hills, and Central LA? My best friend who got me into VPR and I used to travel a lot before she had a baby almost 2 years ago. She's at the point that she feels comfortable enough to leave for a few days and requested LA. So I thought I'd try to write in and see if you had any recs. Appreciate it. I mean, yeah, West Hollywood, there's tons of spots to like go. Like, I think right around where like Sur is kind of, there's like Olivetta, which I love as a restaurant. Great White, Craig's is really great.
Bottega Louie,
which is
right next to Tom Tom, but it's so good and the food is a very worth it. type place. But people love Craig's. What's the Mexican restaurant right near?
Oh, Gracias Madre. It's like vegan food. There's a place I went to called the Benjamin, and it's a little further east of there, but not by much, maybe 10 minutes on Melrose and like Formosa, so like La Brea-ish area. And the food was so good. The drinks were amazing. They had like a twice baked like loaded potato, that baked potato that you could get like caviar put on. They had these orange chicken wings, like an orange glazed chicken wings, like kind of like a Panda Express vibe, but way better with it. The food was fantastic. Apparently they have one of the best burgers. We didn't have a burger, but I think that place is totally worth it. The inside is like so like cool. I don't know. I just had such a vibe that I really, really, really loved.
Drink and nightlife. I was going to say there's a really good brunch place. I mean, who knows? On Sunset, there's the Butcher Breaker, the cappuccino maker. If you guys end up needing brunch.
Oh, yeah. Salty Girl's a really great brunch spot as well. They do like lobster rolls and oysters, like all the kind of like seafood vibes you could want, plus martinis. If as far as like shopping wise, the Grove is kind of a fun place to go because there's also like restaurants and that kind of vibe there as well, but also some good shops.
What's that Italian place at the Grove?
La Piazza.
La Piazza is great at the Grove. The Grove it's a crowd pleaser. Whenever I have people in town, we go there. There's something for everyone. So I'd say, yeah, best shopping unless you want to hit Rodeo in Beverly Hills, which is like elevated. In WeHo, Kith is a fun one if you like something more streetwear, trendy. And is Fred Siegel still there? Oh, it's gone.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Okay, well, RIP to that.
Also, I really like this Westfield Mall at Century City as well.
Oh, and they have Italy. They have Din Tai Fung, which
they have Javier's.
I love Javier's.
Din Tai Fung. Yeah, so that's a good spot. And nightlife wise, listen, I don't really
the
like
Pink Pony Club. The Abbey. I know we don't go out the same way. Beaches is fun. Right there near Tom Tom. It's all those like Boys Town.
Is like a fun work because it's always like pretty lively, and when you go out and it's like not like a pressure situation of like, you know, needing to wear something specific or know someone to get in. It's pretty approachable and a good time, I think. I don't know any other like bars or nightlife places.
Because we don't go out there anymore. We go out in other neighborhoods.
Yeah.
When we do go out.
But hope that helps.
Hope that helps. Nicole says, hey ladies, I love you both and listen every week. So I'm a little older than most of your demographic probably. Recently, I've become single, cheating husband, and moved my whole life back to Houston where my friends and family are, or so I thought. These friends and I have been friends for over 15 years, but I also lived 3 hours away previously. I moved back and everything seemed fine, and it started to feel a little icy. I hadn't heard from them in a while, then all of a sudden got a text to invite me to a pool event. Got there and talked to one of my friends and said, it may just be my anxiety, but I'm feeling some distance lately. They assured me they were just busy until after a couple drinks. Then the truth came out. They were just not sure how to handle the new dynamic of me living in town. Basically, they have a group of friends, and while I thought I was now part of that group, it seems not. So like a winner, I held in my feelings, said goodbye to everyone, and drove home in tears. Since then, I've backed off. It would truly break my heart to lose those friends, but I'm not a puppy. I don't want to beg people to play with me. I know my worth and that I'm a great friend, and quite frankly, I'm too old for this shit. So if they want to find me, they know where I am. What do you think? Am I way off? Should I handle it different? Thank you, ladies. The first thing I thought when I read this was it reminds me of the White Lotus situation with those 3 childhood friends. I don't think you're way off at all. I think that they seem really cliquey, and it seems like you moved away and perhaps they got more and more settled into the familiarity of their lives. So stop reaching out first and see how many dead plants you've been watering.
Yeah.
Like, I would say that I know it hurts and it's sad, but we talk about this in romantic relationships. There's nothing worse than feeling lonely in a relationship. And that also counts as platonic relationships. So I would say maybe there'll be friends that are more at arm's length because I'm sure that they will include you in some stuff. But maybe this is an opportunity and a challenge to meet the people that are more on your level and to who you've grown into be. In this new environment that is something you're familiar with.
Yeah. I'm sure like moving back, you're like, it's great. I got friends there. I got family there. I'll just settle right back into it. But like, it's also okay that those people have kind of gone on to like sort of form their tight friendships and their bonds. And I don't think anyone has to allow someone in, period. I think they're great at like including you in things. And I just think like, let it be that. I don't think you should be searching for anything more than that with them. But I also think it's also really great sometimes to expand your social network and on your own, create your own group of friends, you know, that isn't just sort of a continuation of a friendship that's sort of like we've known each other for this long. But I think it can be a real blessing to like have people in your life that you're you're on the same page, on the same level with.
For me, I have a couple long-term from childhood friendships that are really precious to me. But other than that, the best friendships of my life I've met in adulthood. And it's like adult girlhood. And it's been so reinvigorating for me and just special. And I'm not sure what age you are, but it can really happen at any age. And I think that this just might be the universe telling you it's time for growth in a different direction.
Mm-hmm. No.
And also, is this fucking PS 113? I think that they are goofy and a little being clicky when you're a grown ass woman is like kind of weird. So I personally be like, okay, bye, dusty, crusty, rusty, musty.
I think it can be just as much as like, too, like there's sometimes a friend that you really appreciate their friendship and you get along really well, but it's not necessarily always a friend that you hang out with all the time because maybe you don't feel like you're connected in the terms of like the way you like to spend time or whatever it may be. But I think when they're saying like they're not sure how to handle the dynamic of them like her living there full time, like
yeah,
it can be a tough pill to swallow. But sometimes it's like, listen, no, I love you, but like I don't know if it's something that I want to like integrate into like my life in like a consistent everyday like hanging out kind of way. That might sound mean to say, but like I think we've all had those types of feelings.
Which is fine. But so to my point, like I just then I wouldn't be investing in that.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Don't invest in it because I think they're trying to like not make you feel bad, but I don't know. It can be tough to handle. I'm sorry.
We love you.
Okay.
We're your friends.
Jay says, hey, Katie and Dana. Firstly, I have to tell you how much your podcast has meant to me this past year. I spent the last year solo traveling Europe, living the dream while working remotely. But let's be real, solo travel can get pretty lonely sometimes, so disrespectfully became my go-to. Listening to you felt like I was sitting around with my best girlfriends, chatting and laughing, and your voices became such a comfort. And don't worry, I wasn't totally alone since I brought my 2 cats with me.
That is my dream. I've always said I'll know I've made it in life when Laszlo jet sets with me.
I want to see Laszlo in one of those little backpacks that has a little like window.
Yeah, and I want her with a little beret on. We need to go to Paris. Like, let's go.
Now, here's the kicker. A year in Europe, total dream come true. A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I felt incredibly lucky to have had this chance, and I'll never take that for granted. However, in life, with most amazing opportunities comes sacrifice, or I guess a trade-off. 2 things can exist at once, right? While my job allowed me to travel, it became this unspoken agreement that they owned my time. The work environment was quite toxic, with many complicated intercompany dynamics. I was fulfilling more than one role while keeping one salary, which led to my many 60-hour work weeks. I kept up with it because I was determined to live out this incredible experience. Before Europe, I spent 3 years in a city that honestly wasn't the best fit for me. The friendships were draining. The city felt too expensive for what it offers. Let's just say everyone here loves Elon. Such a red flag. Ugh. I wasn't exactly thrilled about coming back here, but my stuff, read all my shit, was here in storage. My car is registered here, and honestly, the thought of moving back from Europe and executing a full state move seemed exhausting. So I thought I'll come back for a year, reflect on what I want and how I've grown, and figure out what's next. Blue state, blue state, blue state. But here's where it gets real. The morning I'm back at work after moving back, I get the news. My role is eliminated. And what makes it worse, my VP, who happens to be the sister of the CEO, straight up says, we waited until you were back in the States. Like, babes, that makes it worse. I could have spent my last month in Europe living my life, hunting for a new job and city, and just mentally preparing for the future. Instead, I'm back here, stuck in this lease in this city and just confused. So now I'm at a crossroads. Do I go back into another soul-sucking corporate job for the money, or do I take a risk and follow my dreams? Sure, I'm terrified. Rent and stability are a thing, but what would you do? Dana, you've talked about how soul-sucking corporate America is. Been there, done that. Hello, health tech.
Ugh.
And I can't help but wonder if it's time to jump ship and take a chance. How do I make it through another year somewhere I know isn't for me? I have to know, what would disrespectfully do? Love you both lots, and seriously, watching your journeys has been such an inspiration. Thanks for always making me feel like I'm a part of the conversation. I say 100% dip the fuck out of that place. Sorry.
No,
Did I say dip the fuck out?
Yeah.
Is it safe now?
Yeah, that is safe.
I love saying that.
I think it's safe.
I think, yeah, like I think you do only get one life, and you are kind of like at this crossroads and on the precipice of something where you can make something, make a bold choice and a bold decision like that. You've done a year in Europe, like on your own, traveling around. Like, I think you're fully capable. And I think just because, yeah, of course, like that would have been a lot more convenient to get that news before you came back and started making plans to kind of be somewhere for a year. But I say just go for it.
Well, we were just talking about taking the next step before you can see the stairs. And for me, let's be very clear. I made more at my corporate job than I do doing this podcast. However, I trusted myself and I have enough faith in myself to take the gamble and just scale back my life temporarily while we're figuring things out. And it's like, I don't know what your financial situation is, but if you have the opportunity, they've eliminated your role. Start looking at other cities, start job hunting. You solo traveled, you can do it. So I think that if you have the means, life is too short and everything is so scary and shitty right now. Go choose your next adventure.
Yeah.
And let us know.
And good luck.
Circle back. Good luck. And circle back when you're happy in a new city.
Yes.
All right.
I'll do her.
That'll do. That'll do, pig. That'll
We
do.
do that every single time.
I know.
Anyway, well, thanks for writing everything in. Keep them coming. Disrespectfullypod@gmail.com. And until next time.
Give us a little 5-star rating.
Oh, yeah,
Leave us a
that
nice
too.
review. I don't look at them anymore because I'm scared to hurt my feelings. But we love you so much. And Kay, love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Babe, you're gonna see the power of women. Like,
Disrespectfully.